In the final consideration of the spiritual exercises, Ignatius brings in a prayer called the Contemplatio, the contemplation to attain the divine love. And before he actually goes into the matter of this prayer period, he has two prenotes. The first is that love shows itself in deeds more than in words. For Ignatius, love always leads to action. Love in and of itself is not an end in itself, but it moves us to action, it moves us to service. The other prenote is that there's a mutuality in love. There's a give and take in love. And, to spell this out, the lover loves the beloved totally and shares with the beloved everything that is. The beloved, in return, returns everything to the lover, totally, keeping nothing, handing it all back over. It's this kind of mutuality, it's this kind of dynamic that he then enters into this prayer period, which is really made up of four different ideas. One, that all is gift, everything that surrounds us is a gift from God, that God is present in all these gifts, that God is working, God is laboring through these gifts, and finally, that by our response, we participate in the life of the divine. When we are merciful, we are really reflecting God's mercy. When we are just, we're reflecting God's justice. When we love, we're reflecting God's love. He puts this into an image of just as a ray of light is part of the sun, or just like a drop of water is part of the source, the fountainhead, so we are part of the divine on how we respond to those around us, to the events and the people in our lives, that we enter into the life of God through the way that we respond. This image that he uses, this idea of the fountain, the drop of water from the fountainhead, I think is a really clear image of this mutuality. That if you think for a moment about a fountain that's throwing forth water from the fountainhead, and it spills down, but eventually somehow is regathered and becomes part of the fountain again. It comes back again. It gives itself back to the energy of the fountain. And that in that energy, it fulfills the fountain. It fulfills the fountain's purpose, to throw forth more water. That's what this relationship is like with God. That it's a total giving of ourselves, of all we have, so we come back into this dynamic process of creation. It's this situation, it's this context, or this understanding that leads Ignatius to end the exercises with a prayer where he says, "Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, my entire will. All that I have you have given to me, and I'm returning it all to you. Give me only your love and your grace. With these I am rich enough and desire nothing more." Now that prayer only makes sense in the context of total mutuality of friendship, that everything God has is given to us, and that our response is to hand everything back over to God. And in that context of relationship, our prayer becomes one of deep gratitude and trust, that everything we have we recognize as a gift, and that we are grateful for that gift. Everything and everyone is a revelation of God to us, and we hand it all back to God.